So I want to thank them. I want to thank the Sheriff's Office for all the support they provide, as well as our RSVP seniors and all the other volunteers who come out and work this event.
Folks who attended the event had the chance to dig into jambalaya, gumbo, and a new addition to this year's contest, pastalaya.
I've had a few pastalayas, but all the different like noodles and techniques everyone's using, I don't know, I haven't seen all of it yet, but it's pretty cool that they added it.
Very delicious. The gumbo was, I'm ready to go get more gumbo. The gumbo was good too.
Hey man, beautiful weather, good food, cold beer, good music, just hanging out.
And while the setting was fun and lively, the competition was serious business as teams tried to capture the coveted paddle for each of the 3 dishes, all while contributing to a worthy organization.
United Way is a great tool to give back to the communities, and we feel this is a good time to get out and interact with the community, other companies that believe in the United Way as well, and show our support.
Well, it's a lot of hard work, but it feels good giving back to the community, you know, just helping people out. It's a good cause.
But I think what we're particularly appreciative of is the community has supported us in a way that has allowed us to continue those things and still put, at this point, $1.2 million into Ida recovery and helping people get back in their homes.
And no matter who held those paddles at the end of the day, it was our community that won in the end. A substantial piece of St. Charles Parish's levee system is completed and online. The Parity Gate, which is a $5 million project, is the linchpin that connects the 2 major levee reaches on the parish's west bank.
There's so many people who are involved in this project, multiple administrations, multiple people who worked for the parish, multiple councils who had the steadfast determination to make this a reality. This project took almost a decade, or maybe a little over a decade to get done, and it just shows that you have to have the forward thinking, you have to have the plan in place to do these major types of projects to provide this protection for our residents.
This is a really important project because it really helps protect the kind of the backwater flooding. So all the levee work that's been done, West Bank and vicinity and everything, this really, and in conjunction with the pump station itself, this really protects the water from getting back into the parish from the protected side. So without this structure, the citizens would continue to flood. And this is why this is just a critical project.
I'm pleased to see this structure. In fact, when I turned the corner over there, I said, I said I would never live to see this structure, and there it is right now.
The project, which was years in the making, didn't just take time, it took much work and considerable collaboration.
Just to give you an idea, this structure here was first talked about in our office with Sam in 2014. And now today, we finally seen it come to reality.
It's been a great day for the team. It's been a great day for the parish. You know, the system we built so far is, we've been through 3 separate administrations. And so it's been very rewarding to be able to carry the levee system forward through 3 separate administrations. And every administration had the same vigor, and I say vigor, to keep the system going, and the same vigor to want to provide the level of protection that we need for the residents of St. Charles.
It's a link, if you will, to the next chapter, the future of a closed flood protection system on our West Bank.
There's a lot of hard work that goes into getting grant funds and a lot of steps along the way. So whenever we get to this particular part of the process, it's very nice to finally see all of that come together to have a completed project.
Spanning across terms, generations, decades, we're really truly protected now.
She was a Good evening and welcome to the St. Charles Parish Council meeting Monday, December 5th, 2022 at 6 p.m. in the council chambers in the parish courthouse. Please silence all electronic devices and remove all hats. This meeting is called to order with a prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance from Pastor Clint Jett with the Life Fellowship Community Church in Des Allemands.
Let's pray. Father in heaven, we come before you this evening and we ask that your blessings and provision rest over all of the proceedings that are before us. We ask that you grant wisdom and understanding to each council member and every participant this evening. Our prayer, O God, is that you give godly counsel and foresight in making decisions that affect this parish today and in the days to come. Our prayer, O God, is that you guide this parish administration and that everyone is working to make St. Charles Parish a better place to live, work, and grow. We ask that this council seeks to find the best course of action in every discussion and that success comes out of each decision. Father, we pray that you would assist in all conversations and debate and above all, allow your will to prevail. For we know that when your will is administered, great things will occur. Father, we ask you these things in the name that is above every name, the name of Jesus. Amen. To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Pastor Jett. All righty. Approval of the minutes from the budget hearing November 1st, November 3rd, and the regular meeting and budget hearing November 7th, 2022. Motion and a second is needed to approve the minutes. I have a motion by Ms. Billings, second by Ms. Fonseca. Please cast your votes. And that motion passes unanimously with council members Dufresne and Comier absent. All right, special business proclamations, canvas returns, etc. 2020-0339, a proclamation. Toy and Gift Fund Week. Mr. Jewell.
Thank you, Chairman. Proclamation, whereas many individuals in the community would like to share their material and monetary blessings with other individuals, and whereas through the years many individuals, organizations, and agencies have assisted in St. Charles Parish by means of a toy and gift fund, and whereas the St. Charles Parish Council and Parish President recognize this fund every year as a worthwhile community service. Now, therefore, be it resolved that we, the members of the St. Charles Parish Council and the Parish President, do hereby proclaim the week of December 5th through the 10th, 2022, as Toy and Gift Fund Week in St. Charles Parish.
It's a practice run. Ready? 1, 2. I'm gonna do 2.
Thank y'all for supporting this, and if y'all able, we're going to be out there Saturday starting at 8 o'clock. Y'all welcome to come help and join the fun.
Thank you, Ms. Jeannie. Reports, finance administrative activities, 2022-03-40 RSVP program.
I'm going to read for Miss Jeannie this afternoon because her voice is bothering her a little bit. So, RSVP is sponsored by St. Charles Parish, the St. John the Baptist Parish, and St. James Parish, also AmeriCorps Senior RSVP, and the United Way of St. Charles Parish. RSVP applied for a renewal of the AmeriCorps grant on October 30th. They applied for $64,200, and the results will be announced in May 2023. Why seniors should volunteer for RSVP. They can make an impact on our community, feel needed and appreciated, serve others, increase communication and share skills, make a difference in others' lives, build a sense of community and belonging, and make positive impact on other people. Here's some volunteer statistics. The river parishes as a whole have 469 volunteers and served 25,652 hours. St. Charles Parish has 251 volunteers and served 14,113 hours. Since we created this report for Miss Jeannie, they had 8 additional volunteers sign up, totaling an additional 1,952 hours for this year. In total, they had 38 new volunteers sign up for 2022. Some additional programs that they have are the AARP Tax Aid, monthly movies and popcorn, monthly bus trips to Mississippi, various monthly recognition, walking clubs, beanbag baseball co-sponsor. And here are some photos of the volunteers at work. On the left is the Fall Fest, and on the right is the Toy and Gift Fund that President Jewell spoke about that's happening this weekend. They also did a Martin Luther King Jr. book drive this year and collected 760 books that were given to local school. What school is it? St. Rose. St. Rose this year. This is some of our volunteers working on the Sunshine program. They created 2,000 craft bags that were sent to various children's hospitals across the United States. They also come out and help with Trash Bash. These volunteers pick up items, and they also help at the event after. These are our volunteers at National Volunteer Week. They had 325 volunteers from all of the parishes come and participate at this event at the Bridge Park. Some other pictures of them at work. They were at our July 3rd celebration where they collected letters for military overseas that participants at the event could write and send them just kind of wishes and let them know that we're thinking of them. They also participate in a hurricane preparedness training where the EOC and other entities from the parish come and help them ensure that they are prepared for the upcoming hurricane season. They participated in some other events as well, including the Battle for the Paddle, where they worked the 50-50 booth, and they also did some judging for that event as well. They're at the Alligator Fest, the Ronald McDonald Housetop Collection, and high school football sandwiches. And that's it. Miss Jeannie's here to answer any questions that you all may have.
Any questions? Miss Jeannie, thank you for all you do.
You're
Looking
welcome.
forward to this Saturday.
Yes, it'll be fun. No rain.
All right. Fingers crossed. All righty, 2022-0341, the parish president's remark and reports. Mr. Jewell.
Thank you, Chairman. I'll let Sam get it up on the screen here.
It escaped.
Perfect, thank you. I'll just start with Public Works report as normal. Apple and 5th Street in Norco, our crews just went out and finished dressing up. If you remember the 5th Street drainage project we did, that project did not go all the way up to Apple Street, and so there's another section between Apple Street and on 5th Street. And so our guys went out and replaced culverts there, so you can see as we replaced catch basin tops and also dressed up the dirt around there. Scheck-Snyder Drive, we did a lot of cleaning of the jack and bores prior to anticipated weather last week, and they removed large rocks and debris from the canal. So just gives you a look into how Public Works responds when we know that we're going to have anticipated rain. Our crews go out and start looking through the watersheds. Obviously, we can't be everywhere, and things do happen in between our visits to those watersheds. But we try to get out there and get as proactive as possible and to hit our hotspot areas. All right, on to some fun stuff. The annual Senior Christmas Social was a huge success, with more than 500 seniors packing into the Edward A. Dufresne Community Center to kick off the holiday season. This was the largest such event that we've had at the community center for the Senior Christmas Social, and we were very excited to be able to kick off the Christmas season. I want to again thank all of our sponsors who made the event possible. They were able to have a great lunch, pictures with Santa, and great entertainment as well. Next, we have the toy and gift event, which Ms. Jeannie spoke about briefly. So for the second consecutive year, the toy and gift event will be open to all St. Charles Parish children ages infant to 16. And again, this is on Saturday, December 10th, from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the community center. Residents will have to show ID before they go through. Sales tax numbers. Sales tax were up 12.06% in October. In comparison to October of 2021, for the year, sales tax is up at about 8.5%. As you can see, the month of October there was an additional $402,168. And so the difference from last year to this year is roughly $2,693,080.55. We got some job openings as usual. We got animal control officer, carpenter, distribution maintenance tech, electrician helper, engineer intern, equipment operator 3, equipment operator 4, laborer, pump operator helper, pump technician helper, recreation maintenance / grass cutter, shop mechanic helper, wastewater laborer, wastewater tech 1, welder. And if you want to apply to work at St. Charles Parish, you should visit stcharlesparish.gov/employment or call 985-783-5000 for more information. And that concludes my report.
Ms. Gordon.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. I guess I have a question in reference to Public Works' response to the watershed prior to the rain event that we just had. So in District 1 in Hornville, I know the 40 ARPAN was just clean, which I'm very thankful it was. So in reference to the 40 ARPAN, what is the intent to maintain the cleaning of the canal going forward? And I guess this one here would be for Miles, not for you at this point.
Yeah, Miles can answer.
So the 40 ARPAN is one of our major canals. We check those on a routine basis, particularly before we have a rain event, and we clean them on an as-needed basis. I mean, we have it routinely checked. We don't have it on a schedule to be cleaned because some of the canals don't need it as regularly as others. So, and we only have so many crews, so we just do it when we see we need it. But the checking goes on a routine basis about every month.
Okay. And then my second question is, when Public Works is riding around looking just to make sure that drainage is clear, how often do they look at work orders that we have put in or even the residents have put in to state that there is some drainage that may be clogged up or something? Because I know I have a work order in that has been put in for some tree debris that has been in a ditch that has not been cleared in the Hornville area. And I guess if the rain would have continuously kept raining, I guess, I don't know what could have possibly happened. But when they're riding around, do they just ride around, or are they riding around looking to actually see? Because you cannot miss that debris that's been in the ditch for quite some time. In addition to a work order that I had in the Booty area since September that still has not been done pertaining to a clogged ditch. So how often are they going back to the work orders, or what? Because I know when I've called for a backup, to see what the status was on the one in Booty, it's always been the equipment is not working, we're short. So I'm just trying to just get an update so the residents won't flood.
Sure. The truth of the matter is excuse me, we have been experiencing shortages, and we've also been having equipment issues. We have like 4 dump trucks down on the West Bank as of, and we're trying to get parts and equipment. All the supply chain stuff that you hear about on the news has hit us too. And so we're trying, sometimes we have crews that don't have a dump truck available for their work, which is what we would need. We also, our grabber trucks go down, and we've been trying to get those fixed. We are working on work orders. I just took a look at the work order, outstanding work orders. We've narrowed the gap considerably. I will look for those council requests, and we will get those taken care of.
Miles, I want to tell you thank you. The guys did a great job in Norco getting everything cleaned up for the parade, this construction project on 5th Street. It was awesome. It was great to see them out there, especially helping out the Civic Association and that. So
yeah,
I know it takes a lot of effort, a lot of manpower from you, but
well, we have 2 guys that have been doing that for a number of years, and they take great pride in actually doing that. So I thank them, Dominic Brown, and I'm trying to remember the other. Yeah.
And then, like I said, it was good to see him out there, and the people of Norco really appreciated that.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I'll pass that on to them.
Pass it on. All righty. Ordinances, resolutions introduced for publication, public hearing, Monday, December 19th, 2022, 6 p.m., Council Chambers, Courthouse in Hanville. 2022-0343, 2022-0344, 2022-0345, 2022-0346, 2022-0193, and 2022-0347. Planning and zoning petitions, 2022-0322, an ordinance to amend the St. Charles Parish zoning ordinance of 1981 to change the zoning classification from R1A to C3 on lots A, B2, C2, D, E, F, G, H, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, and 24, Square 2, Destrahan Park subdivision, as shown on the survey by Michael Blanchard, PLS, dated October 4th, 2022, as requested by Bunge North America Incorporated. Mr. Albert.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is the follow-up request to the Bunge rezoning from last month. This request is part of the buffering discussion that happened during those meetings, and particular to the M2 buffer as was reduced by the Board of Adjustment. The staff recommended approval, as did the Planning Commission. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Albert. File number 2022-0322 is now open for public hearing. If there is anyone who would like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record. You'll have 3 minutes to speak.
Kyle Greer, 240 Oak Hollow Drive, Hammond, Louisiana. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, council members, President Jewell. As he stated, we're here tonight for the rezone of a portion of that Square 2 parcel of the Destrahan Park subdivision. This land is Bunge owned, vacant, but cleared. This rezone request complies with the previous presentations that we made to the council members for the rezoning process, where we stated before this block of land will serve as the industrial buffer between M2 zoning and R1A residential. I will also add that, we're going to abide by the requirement for their special provisions for the rezoning code for a fence and buffer strip for C3 zoning and R1A residential. So that's everything that we've discussed before. Hope you find this application warranted. Based upon the Planning Commission's recommendation for approval, and we'll approve this application for you. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Greer. If there's no one else who'd like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record. You'll have 3 minutes to speak. Seeing none, the public hearing is closed. Is there any council discussion? Ms. Belloc.
Yes. Where are you going to? I like the fact you said that you will be placing a fence. Exactly where would you be placing the fence within this red guidelines that we have here?
So it'll be on the east side of that red. Make sure I'm telling you right.
It'll be on Modoc Street?
Well, the fence would have to go, I'm sorry, along the west side of that.
The west side,
block.
so that's
correct.
backing up to the neighbor's properties then?
Correct. And that's the same buffer that we're going to use for the whole property that was discussed.
Okay, I see that there's 105, 107, and 119 properties are still there. You plan on doing anything with these? 'Cause I know 101 has been torn down and 100 has been torn down.
Say again, 105?
So yeah, 105 is still there, 107 is still there, and I
119?
believe 119.
Those are not Bungie-owned properties.
Right, they're not Bungie-owned properties. What are you planning on doing? There's no plans for those?
We've talked to a few of the residents, but as of right now, they still own those properties.
Okay, how tall will that fence be?
Minimum 6 foot.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Any further council discussion? Ms. Fonseca.
Now you know I had to follow up with a question on that one. We've spoken previously about the fence, and you indicated possibly a berm and concrete fence on top of that.
Correct.
So how does that tie into minimum 6 feet?
Well, I don't want to sit here and say what it is, what it isn't.
Okay.
We have engaged a landscape architect to help with the design and the layout, what it's going to look like. Again, as we've stated before, we want this to be aesthetically pleasing, look nice, provide separation for the residents from industrial and R1A. So that is something that we've actually done here recently, is engaged a landscape architect to help with the design of the buffer.
Okay.
Because as we stated before, fence line, trees, and all that.
Yep. We'll keep an eye on that.
No, absolutely.
Ms. Billings.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have a question for Mr. Albert. Could you give us an example of the types of things that can be placed on a C3 property so that we might understand future use?
Sure. It's described as a highway commercial zone. So pretty much any and all retail and service commercial businesses with some light manufacturing industrial things as special permit uses. Primarily anything that you would see on Highway 90 and many points on River Road, both sides of the river are C3.
Is that something that you would foresee in the future, or is that property going to be strictly Bungie owned?
In the presentations that we've shown before, it was vacant and shown as vacant. I mean, could be warehouses, storage buildings, that type of thing. Potential.
Right. Okay. I do have a question. Some residents had talked about the possibility of seeing like a shell type of parking lot there that would increase dust and that type of stuff. Is that anything that you foresee doing with that property? Would that be in line with the C3 to just pave it?
You could use it for parking, that's correct, but a constructed parking lot would require a review. I mean, we permit it, it's reviewed by Public Works for drainage and some other things, but that would get reviewed for.
Would that have to come back to the council or to planning and zoning?
No, ma'am.
All right, thank you.
But it would have to come back if you guys plan on building some type of warehouse or building there for hard surface parking. Is that correct, Michael? If they decided to put a building
If they were asking for like a aggregate or slag parking lot, it would have to go to the Board of Adjustment to ask for that kind of permission. Otherwise, they would have to do hard surface, asphalt, or concrete.
Yeah, if you're going to put a building or a warehouse or anything. Okay. All right, any other further council discussion? All right, seeing none, please cast your votes for file number 2022-0322. And that motion passes unanimously. All right, 2022-0323, an ordinance to amend the St. Charles Parish zoning ordinance of 1981 to change the zoning classifications from R1A to R1AM on a lot designated a portion of Lot 1, Block 5, Town of Hanville, municipal address 106 Durst Street, Hanville, as requested by Kendall Bossier. Mr. Albert.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The request is for a rezoning in order to place a mobile home. The lot was cleared post-Hurricane Ida. The staff found it did not meet any of the rezoning requirements, and the Planning Commission subsequently also recommended denial.
Thank you, Mr. Albert. File number 2022-0323 is now open for public hearing. If there's anyone who'd like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record. You'll have 3 minutes to speak. Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Any council discussion? Seeing none, please cast your votes for file number 2022-0323. And that motion fails unanimously. Ordinance is scheduled for public hearing introduced at a previous meeting. 2022-0321, an ordinance to approve and authorize the execution of a cooperative endeavor agreement with the St. Charles Community Care Center Foundation Incorporated, DBA the St. Charles Care Center, for the provision of services. Mr. Raymond.
Good evening again. This is our annual agreement between St. Charles Parish and the Care Center for some funding. And as you all are aware, the Care Center here in St. Charles Parish try to build strong relationships and build stronger communities by being a support mechanism by engaging, empowering, and uplifting young adults and their families also, and helping them to reach their full potential. So this is just the agreement. It's an annual agreement, and it's from January 1st to December 31st of 2023. So I'll be glad to answer any questions you may have, and I also have Ms. Ashley Swartz, who's the program manager for CARE, should you have any specific questions for CARE, anything with the contract, I'll be happy to answer.
All right, thank you, Mr. Raymond. File number 2022-0321 is now open for public hearing. If there's anyone who'd like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record. You'll have 3 minutes to speak. Ms. Schwartz, would you like to get up and tell us a little bit while we got this?
First, thank you guys for your support the last few years with the Care Center. We are a family assessment and resource center, so we love working with young people and families to assess, identify their needs, help them get support through the community, through different referrals, and then we provide ongoing support to the family. We partner closely with the court system, the school system, law enforcement, and our programs really range on range from prevention services all the way through, early intervention, more formal court involvement. We work with families where they are and try to get them on a path or help them find their path of success moving forward.
Ms. Schwartz, could you state your address for the record, please?
Oh, yes, 76 Homeless Place, Destrehan, Louisiana.
Thank you. Does anyone else like to come up and speak regarding this item? Please do so now. Please state your name for the address for the record. You'll have 3 minutes to speak. Okay. Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Any council discussion? Ms. Cluley.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I don't know if this has anything to do with your agreement, but for your funding, is that court-supported funding or United Way, or where do you get the funding from?
It is through the court system.
All right, thank you.
Yes.
Any further council discussion? Ms. Spontica.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Is it Schwartz?
Schwartz, yes.
Schwartz. I just wanted to make sure you're aware that as part of this agreement, there are quarterly reports.
Yes, and yeah, we realized that we were not sending those. It was an oversight on our part. We can send those moving forward and also provide any previous ones if you'd like.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Ms. Gordon.
Yes, I'm going to abstain from voting because I sit on the CARE board.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay. Any further council discussion? Seeing none, please cast your votes for file number 2022-0321. And that motion passes unanimously with Ms. Gordon abstaining. 2022-0326, an ordinance to amend number 22-5-5 is previously amended to provide for the change of polling places for precincts 1-2, 1-2A, 2-3, 4-1, and 4-1A. This is to basically say we have the temporary polling revisions through December 22nd. At this time, the facilities are not available due to Hurricane Ida. So therefore, we're going to move forward with permanent polling replacement revisions, and this ordinance just covers that. File number 2022-0326 is now open for public hearing. If there's anyone who'd like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record. You'll have 3 minutes to speak. Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Is there any council discussion? All right, seeing none, please cast your votes for file number 2022-0326. And that motion passes unanimously. 2022-0327, an ordinance approving and authorizing the execution of change order number 1 for the Ashton Park Development Restroom Facility Project to increase the contract time by 23 days. Mr. Foray.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the council, Parish President Jew. Strictly due to the installation of the transformer being delayed by energy, the building has been inspected, has been approved by Health and Hospital and South Central Planning. So I'd ask you to approve. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer. Ask for your support so we can turn it over to our soccer organization.
Thank you, Mr. Foray.
Thank you.
File number 2022-0327 is now open for public hearing. If there's anyone who would like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record. You'll have 3 minutes to speak. Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Any council discussion? Seeing none, please cast your votes for file number 2022-0327. And that motion passes unanimously. 2022-0335, an ordinance approving and authorizing the execution of Amendment Number 1 to Ordinance Number 20-4-7, which approved a professional services agreement with GIS Engineering LLC to perform the engineering services for the Muntz Pump Station, Parish Project Number P210301. Mr. Bingham.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is work that we've started on permitting, and as permitting is one of those things when you do a contract, you put a number in there and you then get about doing the preliminary part of the permitting. And in this case, there are a myriad of agencies that we've had to deal with in permitting, including people like the DOTD, since it's CC Road is their road, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, since we're pumping into the going over their levee and into the spillway, Louisiana Environmental Quality, and there's a whole bunch more. And as we got into it, we found that it was a lot more tangled and a lot more effort was needed. And the engineer has estimated it'll be about another $40,000 to complete the work that they have started. And we ask for your support in allowing us to keep that project moving forward.
All right, thank you, Mr. Bingham. File number 2022-0335 is now open for public hearing. If there's anyone who would like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record. You'll have 3 minutes to speak.
Hey, good evening, Council. My name's Kyle Galloway. I'm with GIS Engineering, and we're at 935 Gravier Street, Suite 600 in New Orleans. I wanted to just quickly add to Mr. Bingham's statement that for this particular pump station, one of the other agencies we're dealing with is the CN Railroad. I was very fortunate to hear President Jewell speak at our civil engineering conference back in September, and he explained where the term railroaded came from, that y'all have learned with the various jack and bore culverts that the parish has had to install. So at one point I was a little bit tempted to try to argue with the railroad, and then after I heard him say that, I was like, okay, we better just do whatever they ask. So one of the things, really, this amendment, the biggest thing that it adds is design of the bore pit for that jack and bore, which would typically be a delegated design to the contractor, so it is not typically part of our scope. It's usually something we require of the contractor to submit to us before they perform the work. But CN asked that we go ahead and try secure that permit before bidding the project. So again, like they asked, and we took that as required. So that's the biggest thing that's in this request here. So I'm available to answer any other questions.
Thank you, Mr. Galloway. Appreciate it. Does anyone else like to come up and speak regarding this item? Please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record. You have 3 minutes to speak. Seeing none, the public hearing is closed. Any council discussion? Ms. Fonseca.
So Kyle, being that you're going to be doing part of the design that's normally done during construction, would that lead you to believe that construction costs will be a little bit lower because we're getting that done in advance?
Potentially a little bit. I mean, we're looking at about an $11 million project, so it's not a huge reduction, but it might be a little bit. Yeah.
Every little bit helps.
Sure.
Thank you.
If I can add to that, we've done a lot of jack and bores where we're designing them, and the railroad is consistently asking for this service to be done up front. And that's something that's kind of new. In my dealings with the railroad, they've always allowed that to be a contractor-designed pit that they would review, but now they've asked for it to be done up front so that they know exactly what the parameters are.
Kyle, did we anticipate any of this for the second month's pump station?
So the second one doesn't have the issues with the railroad.
Right.
It does have all the other issues that Mr. Bingham described. So there are issues for the second one, but not specific to the railroad. That one we're doing a little bit of pavement work in the KCS right-of-way, but they've indicated that that's no big deal. Their typical requirements would apply that the contractor would just have to follow during construction. So that one's a little more straightforward with the railroad.
Good. So the permitting part of it, we're kind of a little bit ahead of with having to do this, right? So we'll know what we need to do for two, right?
Yes, a lot of the other stuff that Mr. Bingham talked about, it applies to both pump stations, and so we're working both in parallel.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Belloc.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Bingham, you mentioned that there was an extra 40,000.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you explain to me for what?
For the additional permitting, it's additional permitting work. As he explained, our initial budget for the work was for work that we could see. That when you get into permitting, as the agencies start coming back to you and asking for, like the design bore pit, like the other things that they've asked for, it gets more involved than we anticipated, and we're now having to do that work.
How much was the initial?
Was 50,000.
50? Mm-hmm. All right, thank you.
Ms. Billings.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Bingham, since we're doing this now, is that going to decrease the time later in the contract, or is it all concurrent? The time required? in the
Time
contract?
for getting the permit, we're continuing with the permits.
So it's all concurrent? and
Yes, it
It's not
is.
going to lengthen it or shorten it?
No, we're not going to take any extra time. This project is moving ahead very quickly.
Thank you, Miles.
Any further council discussion? Seeing none, please cast your votes for file number 2022-0335. And that motion passes unanimously. 2022-0336, an ordinance approving and authorizing the execution of Amendment Number 2 to Ordinance 21-11-4, which approves a professional service agreement with GIS Engineering to perform the engineering services for the Muntz Pump Station Number 2, Parish Project P 210806. I've got a note that the administration has requested for file number 2022-0336 to be postponed indefinitely. If there's anyone like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record. You'll have 3 minutes to speak. Seeing none, the public hearing is closed. Is there any council discussion? Mr. Jewell.
Yeah, thank you, Chairman. I was just going to say, for the council members' edification, that there's just more things that we have to kind of line up before we move forward on this one. So while we wanted to kind of proactively move forward with both, when we took a step back after we had introduced it, there were just a couple more things that we have to have in place before we move forward on this. So that's why we're asking for you to pull it at this time.
All right, thank you, Mr. Jewell. A motion and a second is needed to postpone indefinitely file number 2022-0336. I have a motion by Ms. Cluley, second by Ms. Billings. Please cast your votes to postpone indefinitely file number 2022-0336. And that motion passes unanimously. File number 2022-0337, an ordinance approving and authorizing the execution of a professional services agreement with Ames Group Incorporated to provide the engineering services for the Ormond Oaks Channel, project number P210203, in the not-to-exceed amount of $29,990. Mr. Bingham.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. This project has been on the books for a while. There was something in the project list when I came on board. The biggest problem that they've had trying to work this project is coming up with something that is economical and constructible. This is a narrow channel behind people's houses that you're going to have to get into and build a project. Ames Group was already on the books for that project, but there had never been a contract put in place. After several times trying to talk through and come up with a reasonable way of doing it, we figured the best way to proceed with this project was to actually have a feasibility and constructability review done by the engineer so that they could come up, give us a couple options on ways to line the channel so that it would be more easily maintained and be more efficient. And so they're going to do that for this amount, and then we will move into a design project after we choose a method for that process.
All right, thank you, Mr. Bingham. File number 2022-0337 is now open for public hearing. If there's anyone who would like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record. You'll have 3 minutes to speak.
Walter Pillier, Ducaya Drive in Destrehan. I don't live too far away from where this ditch is, and it drains a good portion of Armand Plantation Estates subdivision. We don't have a lot of drainage until we get some more Jackson bores underneath the railroad track, but I will say to you, this has been studied over the years, twice in 2002, again in 2018, then we're about to study it in 2019. What we find is there's a penchant for replacing ditches with culverts. I want to warn everybody not to do that. The amount of flow that goes through there is phenomenal. If somebody's interested, I could show you a video of just on the 26th of November, where the flow, where ditch number 2 was, again, we made a culvert out of it, 48-inch culvert, and the head wall there, water was overflowing it. All right, so the bottom line is there is enough going through that ditch so that if you start channeling it, trying to put it through an 84-inch and an arched 60-inch culvert, which handle something like 320 cubic feet a second, if you try to do that and you throttle it down, it has nowhere to go but back up. So I caution us to do the right thing and avoid, I mean, we cover up ditches in the name of maintenance, but I got to tell you, we need to look at functionality before we look at maintenance. I'm sorry, maintenance is tough. That ditch has been around for, close to 40 years. So I implore you guys, I could show you videos, or even in one study, this is what that ditch looked like, and it isn't narrow. In the section right around Ruth Street where I have a video, it's over 30 feet at the top, right, and about 7 feet deep. This is not small. So anyway, I implore you to when you do this study, please take into consideration the functionality, and I know that's what you want to do, Mr. Bingham, and I would love to be able to provide some data to individuals. You already have the survey. That's where I get some of this information from. So please do the right thing. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Perry. Does anyone else like to come up and speak regarding this item? Please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record. You'll have 3 minutes to speak. Seeing none, the public hearing is closed. Ms. Fonseca.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I was just going to say, I don't believe that this administration has covered, done subsurface much in this particular channel. We know it's a problem. I mean, when the flood happened in May, I was out there and I spoke with many of the homeowners that backed up against the canal, and so we know there's an issue, and I feel like this is a worthy endeavor to put this money towards a feasibility study to see what options there are out there to fix this, potentially, so that we can have good access and still maintain the proper amount of flow that's needed. Thank you.
Mr. Jewell.
Thank you, Chairman. I'll just say that that we have no intention on covering this ditch. Mr. Pillier, and you know that we've had a lot of discussions about that. While covering it would make it much easier to maintain just the servitude, we know that this ditch really it's a canal. This canal is the main artery when you look when you're south of the CN Railroad. Everything drains to it, and that all of that goes to an undersized jack and bore. We do have a project which we are hopeful to be moving in 2023 with the help of watershed initiative funds that are going to take some pressure off of that canal. This is really trying to figure out what is the best application, whether it's a concrete impregnated fabric covering, whether it's actually concreting the canal. Is it just best that we sheet pile the sides of the canal? So it's really going to see what is the best kind of bang for the buck that we're going to get out of doing that, and that's the intention.
Thank you, Mr. Jewell. Any council discussion? All right, seeing none, please cast your votes for file number 2022-0337. And that motion passes unanimously. 2022-0338, an ordinance approving and authorizing the execution of a contract with Cycle Construction Company, LLC, for the hydraulic bottleneck near Destrehan Pump Station Number 2, project number P190507, in the amount of $2,264,960. Mr. Bingham.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is a bid that we just took, and it's within our budget. On this project, we have state outlay money of $658,800, and we're going to use parish funds of $1,606,160. This bid is a little bit over the engineer's estimate if you looked at that, but with the prices the way they've been, engineers are having a hard time really coming up with a proper estimate, and we feel that prices are only going to go up from here. They're not, they may level off, but this is a good bid. We had two bids very close together, and we feel like we should move forward with this. It's an important project for the watershed from Ormond. So we would appreciate your support.
Thank you, Mr. Bingham. File number 2022-0338 is now open for public hearing. If there's anyone who'd like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record. You'll have 3 minutes to speak.
Walter Pelia again, Duquette Drive. I definitely support this. I don't know if any of you have been out there when you have a severe rain, but I've actually been out there after a very strong rain when you have a lot of flow going through to pump station number 2. There are white caps on this canal, and the bottleneck that you have there is causing that increases the hydraulic grade line, that causes the upstream to build up, and we have a problem. And I'm totally dependent on the other side of the tracks for that, as are a lot of people. But I'm sure you guys know that. I just wanted to make that point, and I think I would like to say that I had to make a public records request to see what the drawings look like. Do you guys see that? Does anybody here see that when in your folders? Because I have to say, I think there was a good job done by Evans Graves, and it looks like they're going to extend toward the east side, toward the levee side, about 10 feet, and then gouge it out to the point where they're getting a substantial amount more flow, and that's what I wanted to see. But it really, years ago, I said, we should see these things. The public should see these things when you publish this information on a posting. And so I had to ask, not a problem. Everybody is, happy to give it to me. But you guys ought to see that stuff, too. And maybe that could be made a standard going forward again. So I appreciate if you guys would vote for this. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Walter. Anyone else like to come up and speak regarding this item? Please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record. You'll have 3 minutes to speak. All right, seeing none. Any council discussion?
Public hearing is closed. Public hearing is closed.
Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Okay. Any council discussion? Seeing none, please cast your votes for file number 2022-0338. And that motion passes unanimously. Okay. We have a deviation. So a motion and a second is needed to deviate from the regular order of the agenda to take up file number 2022-0348. It's a resolution approving and authorizing the execution of a supplemental agreement number 1 for LA 52 Paul Mallet Road Phase 1 project, state project number H013494, federal aid project H013494, to the existing entity state agreement, lighting agreement, and sidewalk agreement between the State of Louisiana Department of Transportation and Development, the DOTD, and St. Charles Parish. It's a matter not on the agenda, and a copy has been placed on your seat. I have a motion by Ms. Fonseca, second by Ms. Billings, to deviate from the regular order of the agenda to take up file number 2022-0348. If there's anyone who'd like to come up and speak on the deviation, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record. You have 3 minutes to speak. Seeing none, public comment on a deviation is closed. Is there any council discussion? All righty, please cast your votes on the deviation only. And that motion passes unanimously. 2022-0348. It's a resolution approving and authorizing the execution of a supplemental agreement number 1 for LA 52, the Paul Mallett Road, Phase 1 project, state project number H013494, federal aid project number HO13494, to the existing entity state agreement, lightning agreement, and sidewalk agreement between the State of Louisiana Department of Transportation and Development, the DOTD, and St. Charles Parish. Mr. Bingham.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm glad you got to read all that stuff instead of me. But this is an amendment to add utility relocations for this project. In the original agreement, that was 100% for the parish to take on. Through some work, once we realized that there was going to be a lot of relocations, through some work with the administration, we went to the RPC. The RPC agreed to put it into the federal program and add it. The DOTD was behind that same thing. So now it is an 80% federal share and a 20% local share. So this is beneficial to the parish for our budget, and we would appreciate your support of this resolution to let us sign this amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Bingham. File number 2022-0348 is now open for public comment. If there's anyone who'd like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record. You'll have 3 minutes to speak. Seeing none, public comment is closed. Any council discussion? Ms. Gordon.
Yes, thank you. So this project is going to start from Blueberry Hill to Angus Drive.
That's correct. That's Phase 1.
Okay. Okay. All righty.
Ms. Cluley.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Do you have a timeline on when this project might start?
Currently, the DOTD has it on their letting list, which is when they would start the bidding process for in January. I would anticipate, based on some of the other things that we're seeing with DOTD, that it may slide a month or two from that. But earliest January, I would say February is probably more likely that they will start that bidding process. It takes about a month to do that, and it'll take about 2 to 3 months for the contractor to get out to the field.
What is the total time frame for this? I mean, is it we looking next year or?
Are you talking about for the finished construction?
Finished construction, yeah.
I would say you probably got, I would say a year. I think DOTD has it a little shorter than that in their documents. I think they're going to have some issues with trying to keep maintaining the traffic, which is going to be very important because you got the post office in this area, you got the fire station, and it's a major route to the hospital as well. So a lot of that is when we get a contractor on board, the contractor, we will come up with their method of handling the traffic, and that will get approved by DOTD, and we'll have a say in that to make sure that we keep those facilities have ability to get to them.
Okay, thank you. Any further council discussion? Okay. Seeing none, please cast your votes for file number 2022-0348. And that motion passes unanimously. I need a motion and a second to return to the regular order of the agenda, please. I have a motion by Ms. Fonseca, second by Ms. Belloc. Please cast your votes. And that motion passes unanimously. Persons to address the council. 2020-03-42, Ms. Eula Fleming, Code Enforcement. Dumpsters or other unsightly matter on the front lawn of residential property used for advertisement, not for this purpose. ISO. Ms. Fleming. Ms. Fleming, you'll have 5 minutes.
I'm Eula Fleming. I live at 428 St. Charles Street in Norco. I love it here. I've been here for 32 years, and I'm thinking that by me coming to council is the only way I'm going to be heard, because I have made numerous calls, tried everything in the book to get somebody to listen to me, and that's why I'm here today. Across the street from where I live, there is a house, and I'm sure everybody's heard about it, looked at it, whatever, but it is not part of Ida, the Hurricane Ida situation. It's been there for years. Also, there is this guy, I'm not going to say any names or anything because, this guy down the street or whatever, he decided that because the house is deplorable, it's a tear down, that he is going to bring his dumpsters with debris. It sits there for 3 to 4 weeks without being touched, without being moved or ever, straight across the front lawn of the property, and I think it's very unfair. And I don't think that it is a residential situation. I think it's commercial, and we live in a residential neighborhood. Like I said, I've lived there for 32 years. I'm not even from here, but I decided to stay because I love it. And I think right now that area is going downhill because people aren't listening. People aren't doing the things that they're supposed to do to make it a better place. And I just need somebody to come out, look at the situation, take care of it. And I was told that nothing can be done because people can do what they want in our parish. And I think that is totally false, because I've never, ever had an issue. If you call, somebody usually comes out, they take care of the issues. Now, all of a sudden, I'm feeling like I'm lost because, they said nothing can do. I'm going to put this thing here, and it's going to stay there as long as I want it to, and all that. And I said, well, I'm a little person. I'm myself. I can't argue and have a fight with somebody, So I'm asking for help. I truly am. The dumpster situation has to go, because I think it's a hazard to our neighborhood. I truly do. Whose stuff is in that dumpster? I mean, we don't even know what it is. It's covered. It's pulled in there. There's 2 or 3 of them. It's covered. It's pulled into the driveway on the front lawn, all that. Covered. What's in there? It could be hazardous to everybody in my little block's health or whatever. And I feel like it's serious enough to take under advisement and to look into. I truly do. So I'm asking that somebody please. And the house is not, I'm stressing again, the house is not an Hurricane Ida house. It has been there. It's just bad. And it's directly, I'm talking because it's directly in front of me. And I have to come out every day. I did the best I could to my little house. I worked hard. Every tree in my yard was torn, you can pass there and look now, it's not there. I did my best, and I'm just asking that somebody listen to me and take care of our little neighborhood and do something about it. Thank you.
Ms. Fleming, thank you for coming, but it's my district, and I wanted to kind of give you an update of what's going on. Since I've been elected 3 years ago, we have actively pursued code enforcement. Mr. Abbott can tell you. I've got a report if you'd like to look at it. We've been on this property for almost 2 years now. So it is going to legal. I talked to Mr. Oob, and we'll be taking some action on that. It's actually the mortgage company that owns it now. And then we're working to get the individuals stuff off of that. So I will get it picked up, and I will get it taken care of.
You promise?
I promise.
Because it is. How about the dumpster deal? The gentleman with the dumpster.
We'll talk about, we can get the legal thing. You'd like to talk to Corey after the meeting?
Okay.
He'll be more than happy to run you through everything.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Plum, appreciate it.
Okay.
All right, appointments. 2022-0316, a resolution appointing a member of the South Central Louisiana Human Services Authority Board. The council will confirm the nomination to the South Central Louisiana Human Services Authority Board to fill a vacancy created by the expiration of the term of Ms. Barbara Fuselier in accordance with Louisiana State Revised Statute 28-9134. The board should be composed of 9 members, 1 resident from the parish of St. Charles, to be appointed by the parish council, 3-year term to begin January 1st and expire January 1st, 2026. Ms. Barbara Fuselier is our nominee. Please cast your votes to confirm the appointment of Ms. Barbara Fuselier to the South Central Louisiana Human Services Authority Human Services Authority Board. And that motion passes unanimously. All right, 2022-0317, a resolution appointing a member to the Regional Planning Commission. The council will confirm nomination to the Regional Planning Commission to fill a vacancy created by the expiration of the term of Mr. Tommy Fauché in accordance with ordinance number 16-12-4. The board shall be comprised of 5 members, the parish president, 2 members of the St. Charles Parish Council, term concurrent with the governing authority, and 1 member who must not otherwise hold elected or appointed office in the parish of St. Charles, to be appointed by the parish council, approved by the parish president. A 5-year term to begin January 8, 2023 and expire January 8, 2028. So Mr. Garrett Monty is our nominee. Please cast your votes to confirm the appointment of Mr. Garrett C. Monty to the Regional Planning Commission. And that motion passes unanimously. 2022-0318, a resolution appointing a member to the Regional Planning Commission. The council will confirm nomination to the Regional Planning Commission to fill a vacancy created by the expiration of the term of Pastor Thomas Hines in accordance with ordinance number 16-12-4. The board shall be comprised of 5 members, the parish president, 2 members of the St. Charles Parish Council term concurrent with the governing authority, and 1 member who must not otherwise hold elected or appointed office in the parish of St. Charles, to be appointed by the parish council and approved by the parish president. A 5-year term to begin January 8, 2023 and expire January 8, 2028. Our nominee is Pastor Thomas Hines. Please cast your votes to confirm the appointment of Pastor Thomas Hines to the Regional Planning Commission. And that motion passes unanimously. 2022-0328, council ex officio appointment to the St. Charles Parish Housing Authority. The council chairman will accept nominations to the St. Charles Parish Housing Authority to fill the vacancy created by the expiration of the term of Councilwoman Marilyn B. Billock, council ex officio appointment. 1-year term to begin January 14, 2023 and expire January 8, 2024. Do we have any nominations? Ms. Gordon.
Yes, I would like to nominate Councilwoman Belloc.
So Councilwoman Marilyn Belloc. Okay. A motion and a second is needed. We have a motion by Ms. Cluley, a second by Mr. Gibbs to close nominations. Please cast your votes to close nominations. And that motion passes unanimously. Congratulations, Mrs. Belloc.
Thank you, sir.
All right, meetings, announcements, notices, etc. Meetings, the Lafourche Basin Levy District, Wednesday, December 7th, 2022, 6 p.m., Lafourche Basin Levy District Office, 21380 Highway 20 in Vacherie. Communications District, Monday, December 12th, 5 p.m., the council chambers. Special Civil Service Board, Tuesday, December 13th, 2022, 6:30 p.m., council chambers. The Community Advisory Board, Wednesday, that's different, it's not going to be at 5 p.m. This is going to be at 12 p.m. at the Kelowna office. Community Action Advisory Board will be Wednesday the 14th at 12 p.m. at the Kelowna office. Board of Adjustment, the ZBA, will be Thursday, December 15th, 6 p.m., the council chambers. Pontchartrain Levy District, Monday the 19th, December 19th, 2022, 6 p.m. Pontchartrain Levy District Headquarters, 2069 Railroad Avenue, Lutcher. And then the St. Charles Parish Council meeting Monday, December 19th, 2022, 6 p.m., council chambers. Important dates for the December 10th, 2022 election. Tuesday, December 6th, 2022 will be the last day to request absentee by mail ballots. Friday, December 9th, 2022, the last day for the register to receive voted absentee ballot. Saturday, December 10th, 2022, Election Day. Polls will open at 7 a.m. and close at 8 p.m. Christmas tree lighting ceremony, Thursday, December 8th at 5:30 p.m. at the Albert Dufresne Community Center in Luling. And Christmas on the Bayou Boat Parade, Saturday, December 17th, 6 p.m., Bayou Gauche. Special matters to be considered by the council, 2022-0329. Adopt the 2023 Parish Council meeting schedules. Would anyone like to amend the Parish Council meeting schedule? All righty. File number 2022-0329 is now open for public comment. If there's anyone who'd like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record. You'll have 3 minutes to speak. Seeing none, the public comment is closed. Is there any council discussion? Seeing none, please cast your votes to adopt the 2023 Parish Council meeting schedule. And that motion passes unanimously. (2022-0330) confirm nomination. Presiding officer for the 2023 Chairman, St. Charles Parish Council. During the November 21st, 2022 council meeting, the following nominations were made in the following order. Julia Fisher-Comier, first nomination. Beth Billings, second nomination. The following nominations will be voted upon by the entire council present in the order in which the nominations were made on 11/21/2022. If the first nomination receives a majority of the votes of the members present, the first nomination will be confirmed as a 2023 chairman. If the vote for the first nomination fails, a vote will be taken on the second nomination. File number 2022-0330 is now open for public comment. If there's anyone who would like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record. You'll have 3 minutes to speak. Seeing none, public comment is closed. Is there any council discussion? Seeing none, please cast your votes to confirm Councilwoman Julia Fisher-Comier as the council chairman for 2023. And that motion fails. Please cast your votes to confirm Councilwoman Beth A. Billings as the council chairman for 2023. That motion passes. Congratulations, Councilwoman Billings. 2022-0331, confirm nomination, presiding officer for the 2023 Vice Chairman, St. Charles Parish Council. Nominee is Councilman Dick Gibbs. File number 2022-0331 is now open for public comment. If there's anyone who'd like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record. You'll have 3 minutes to speak. Seeing none, the public comment is closed. Any council discussion? Seeing none, please cast your votes to confirm Councilman Dick Gibbs as the Council Vice Chair for 2023. And that motion passes unanimously. Congratulations, Councilman Gibbs. I need a motion and a second to adjourn. We have a motion by Ms. Billings, second by Ms. Fonseca. Please cast your votes to adjourn. And that motion passes unanimously. Have a great evening. We're officially adjourned. Who dat?
When emergencies happen, we want you to be the first to know.
But if we can't reach you, we can't alert you.
That's why we need you to register for our new emergency alert system, SCP Alerts.
Signing up is easy.
So text SCP Alerts to 888-777 to get our messages.
From weather-related updates and emergencies
To evacuations and more.
Sign up for SCP Alerts.
Because our first priority is keeping you safe.
In a natural disaster, severe weather, or local emergency, we want you to know what to do.
Through SCP Alerts, we can help you be prepared and stay safe.
Text SCP Alerts to 888-777.
When you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. Sign up for SCP Alerts today.